Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gargi Sarkar, the founder of Ra Brand Consultant, and I've started this podcast called Crafting Identities. And what's the buzzword today? We all know, called AI. And in AI, how is AI affecting, or how is AI helping us from finance to healthcare to manufacturing, human resource, and works? Today I have a fantastic lady who's come for the first time in my show, and I'm really grateful. Her name is Vandan Tripathi. She's got almost a decade of experience in the healthcare sector. Thank you, Vandan, for coming down to my show, and this is the first time and I'm really happy that you're here. So do you want to share a little bit about your experience in the healthcare sector, please? That would be really nice.
Thank you, Gargi. I think thank you so much for having me, and I'm so happy that I'm the part of your first step towards the journey. So I'm really grateful. So Gargi, like you said, I have spent almost a decade in healthcare industry. I've worked in different sectors, including medical devices, pharmaceutical, health tech, telemedicines. So I have a vast kind of a network, and I've been leading a lot of digital strategies, digital transformation for multiple organizations. So yes, it's been a great journey with a lot of trials, errors, learnings that have been. But yes, I think I'm very happy to be a part of the discussion that's very hot today.
Oh yes.
So I'm happy that I'm a part of that community which really focuses on driving a lot of digital transformation. So,
perfect. Yeah. So how do you see the AI is transforming healthcare today, and what are the spaces the healthcare AI is helping? So if you can just give us a little bit of a snippet on that.
Sure. So I think it's very, that AI, today every one of us is really talking about. And honestly, it's not a new thing.
True.
I was reading this article and it says that it's around 62-year-old concept, right? Mm-hmm. Howsoever, of lately it's got a lot of attraction, a lot of buzz around it, a lot of people talking about it because they've started seeing a lot of business importance, how it can act, and more than business importance, there are other things that it's actually started giving results that we are looking at, right? But of course there are a lot of industries going around doing great stuff around it. With healthcare, of course, a lot that we have seen today, right? One, I think it helps in improvising the diagnosis piece, right? Disease diagnosis were never so easy earlier, but now you see how AI is actually helping you improve the diagnosis piece. It's helping in improvising the lot of processes, the hospitalization processes, a lot of business processes. It's actually helping you. Not just that, it's helping clinical trials. Today, if you're trying to make any medicine or coming up with any medical devices, it actually takes a lot of years technically in traditional, or gone are the days, right? Today AI is helping in that way. So it's very today I think it's very easy to say that anything that we can dream of, we can try to achieve with the help of AI. We can actually achieve it in a sooner time. So I think it's transforming, and we're going to we have actually expedited a lot of our stuff with the help of AI.
Lovely. So where do you see AI in the healthcare sector another 5 years, 10 years down the line? Do you think it is going to be that effective where even someone who's paralyzed and AI is helping them to even stand and walk? Is that the kind of future are we looking at?
So of course the AI is here to stay. We will get better with a lot of things. Today AI can actually help scan people with brain strokes, right? Correct. It can actually scan fractures better probably than a human side could actually see too, right? So that's the level of progression. They can actually diagnose something like, people may have cancer in coming a year, but they can actually give you intimation. It can help doctors to identify it better, right? So I think that's where we are into. Of course, without a human intervention, a lot of things, without doctors' intervention, we can't really say that only AI can help you. But it's near. I think we'll see. Maybe not exactly the person may start walking, but of course it can improve the patient outcomes.
Yes,
right?
Because I was seeing something a few days ago, an article that I was reading in LinkedIn actually, there's some in California, there's a lady who is not being able to walk, and through the intervention of AI, the doctors could detect something, and now she is able to, her entire body is paralyzed, and she's not been able to do anything. The systems that has been used, and how she has been, all the machines that has been added, and how how she's been talked, or the AI is talking about, and that's what is making her walk. So this is really something I feel that's the future, and wow, so that's how AI is going to help in the healthcare sector. So, and tell me more. As you said that, if somebody is you can detect cancer beforehand. Wow, what else you want? So that's what AI is going to do.
Absolutely.
So do you see healthcare sector, be it big hospitals today, hospitals and diagnostic centers and so on and so forth, do you think they're going to be utilizing AI at this point of time, or they are doing it now, or they are looking to adapt to AI much more in the future? What do you think?
So I think hospitals have already started, and if they don't, I think
it's high time.
Yes, right. So I think a lot of hospitals, they have already started implementing, different areas of it, right? One could be in, the daily processes like operations, probably administrating patients, right? Secondly, doing a lot of robotic assisted surgeries, which are AI enabled, right?
Correct.
So gone are the days when, we used to take a lot of hours, and entire doctors had to put everything now. But today doctors have been assisted with robotics, right? And doing knee surgeries, heart surgeries, all these robotics are helping them. All the more, I think, patients who need immediate attention, the triaging patients, right? So that process is correct. So hospitals have already started doing it, and I think they're seeing great results. Lot of things which can, where we need human to do essential tasks, the repetitive task can be taken up by AI, right? A lot of virtual assistants to manage disease, like, a lot of people come to hospital websites and they have so many queries, or probably an AI chatbot can actually help that, right?
Correct.
So I think hospitals are already doing it, and it is just going to multiply. Today we are seeing the kind of surgeries that are happening, the precisions that we are looking at, and I think off lately I was looking in a lot of social media channels, the hospitals started promoting that, like, we are AI enabled, we have robots to do surgeries. Initially, it never used to be. It used to be like, just a traditional way. But today, they are flaunting about it that, listen, our office, our hospital is AI enabled, robotics enabled, right? So I think
so
we've already moved there.
And I think so that's whichever hospitals are actually having that, or AI enabled, I think they can also charge an extra fee for that, right?
So it's not about, honestly, it's not about fees, because it's just improvising the process. Any charges is something that they can, of course, leave up to their processes and, whatever the, cost sheet that they follow. But it's about the outcomes that it brings, right? At the end of the day, we are in that healthcare ecosystem where we really want to add value to a patient, right? Our patient outcomes has to be improvised. So probably today, what human, probably we may get a result of 80%. Maybe with AI and robots, we are able to get 95 or probably 100% of the results, right? It actually improves the patient outcomes, and that's where we all, as a being into healthcare and being a responsible person from the industry, I think that's where we look up to how we can actually improvise on the patient outcomes.
So I have a question for you on this. When the healthcare sector is booming right now and AI has intervened and we have so much happening with AI, my question to you is how are the doctors coping with it, and how they are being able to adapt to the AI environment, and how are they learning something? Are they trying to get into some kind of courses? How does it work?
Yes. So I think, I believe in this, something called as it's human with AI and not human versus AI.
Perfect.
Okay. Today, you might have heard a lot of questions around would AI replace doctors?
Redundant doctors.
Yes. So
Yes.
it's actually people.
There's a fear.
I think yes, of
course.
course. A lot of doctors ask something like that. A lot of people, a lot of us also, we also tend to ask would it take away our jobs?
Correct.
Right? So what I see in the industry, because I interact with a lot of doctors day in and day out, right? That's how I have been from across the specialities, right? Doctors are interested about it. They are keen to learn how they can use AI on their day-to-day processes, practices, right? Be it courses, they are open to do it because see, if they don't leverage AI, then of course they'll be replaced, right?
Absolutely.
AI will never replace a doctor's intervention because at the end of the day, it is the human interaction that will always have value over anything, over just technology, because that's where the industry comes into. That's where the patient care comes
And
into
even
picture,
AI
right?
has been created by humans.
Yes, of course.
So end of
that
the day,
empathy, that
Exactly.
touch, that human touch, and human oversight cannot be taken away.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, of course, the doctors are like I see, they're keen to talk about it. They're using it with their lot of day-to-day processes, right? Trying to use AI to understand a lot of literatures that would give them easy answers, quicker answers, because you understand, right? If they wanna do any surgeries or they wanna do any medical procedures, a lot of evidence-based learnings has to be done.
Absolutely.
And without that, probably a task could be 2-day task of reading all the articles. Why not use an AI?
Of course.
And that can actually
Exactly.
give them a quick answers.
Absolutely
right?
correct. Today, with AI, you can actually do a task in 15 minutes. It can actually give you a full plan,
Yes.
or even whatever decoding is required,
Yes.
which might take hours.
True.
Even in the medical industry, with AI, you get. Obviously, what you need to do with AI is, of course, that you need to check as a human intervention
True.
is really required.
Yes.
Like a real doctors would check whether the data is correct or not,
Absolutely.
whether the data has been tweaked, or so those things have to be done.
Yes,
But
yes.
with AI, it makes your life so simple, right?
Yes, and I think it also helps them manage their patients
Yes.
better, because they cannot track patients on too much of time to each patient's giving is also difficult.
Yes.
Right? So with a lot of AI, they can use those assistants, virtual assistants. Like you see a lot of apps, right?
Yes.
Giving them reminders about, you have a follow-up, you have to take your
Yes,
medicines,
medicines.
you're supposed to eat this. With that, it just improves their interaction with patients, right? And at the end of the day, like I said, patient satisfaction and patient outcomes is a crux of healthcare industry.
So, tell me, Vandan, what are the common misconceptions of AI in the healthcare industry?
Okay. I think one very common one that we just spoke about is, will AI replace doctors?
Oh, yes.
Right?
That's the buzzword again.
Yes, and I always say that it will never. It is going to assist and help in better decision making, but it will never replace doctors. Second, I think it says that AI is 100% accurate. It can be, provided we have, we have those diverse data. We have to, because the AI always works on what is being fed, the trained data.
Exactly.
Right? And if that's not happening, then we cannot just rely blindly on AI. Then we need to have regular audits and everything in place. Third, it said that AI is only for larger organizations. Like, the moment it's AI, the people think it's
I cannot
cost.
afford
We
the
cannot
cost.
afford.
Yes.
See, it's right that AI is scalable, but even the smaller clinics can, use at their bandwidths. Of course, they'll have to understand the nuances of it. But yes, it's not just that only the bigger organizations can actually implement AI.
So, how do you avoid biases in the healthcare system for AI?
Okay. So I think first thing is, you need to have those regular audits done. Okay. Like we say that AI works on trained data, right? It's the lot of data that has been fed into, and basis that a lot of outcomes come, right? Is produced, right? So I think firstly, you need to have a diverse set of data. You cannot stick to one set of data and think that it is going to represent all the populations out there, right? So one that we really need to take care of is having a diverse set of database. Secondly, like I said, you need to have regular audits for fairness. Once you've done it, you're like, it's going on ages, and you're not doing those audits, probably that could be dangerous, right?
Oh, really?
You
Yes.
never know that because if you're blindly relying on AI, that's also not right.
Absolutely
right?
correct.
Because like I said, AI, human oversight is important, right? Human intervention is important, but if you blindly rely on that, probably it's a patient's life at stake, right? So you cannot just rely on AI just like that. So do a lot of audits regularly for fairness, right? Check how well it is, giving you responses that it actually should have been. Thirdly, there are a lot of ethical governance and frameworks in place. So you should actually try implementing those, because I see a lot of, there are 42 countries following one set of, so there are multiple frameworks, right? So I think you need to adopt one of those framework and see, or maybe one or two, whatever works best with your organization. So you should try adopting those frameworks and start working towards this, because all the frameworks are designed in a way that patients' privacy is maintained. We are in that inclusive environment, and we are not actually violating any regulations with respect to patients' data or privacy, right?
Correct.
So I think
that's again another aspect that we should really look into, and I'm sure everybody has this question that how do you prevent data privacy, for
so
sure.
I think frameworks are very important. Today, like I said, there are a couple of frameworks that actually help you, abide by those. And if you adopt those frameworks, that will absolutely help you not violate, because today AI is going to actually exponentially grow.
Absolutely correct.
I think we're just getting started, and it is going to be there. And I think every area. I think lately I was seeing an advertisement which said that AI in a mattress, and I was just wondering, like, how can
That's really?
Yeah, and I was like, I was really surprised in the sense that, oh my God.
So what does it do?
I honestly did not get a chance to read further, but it just scrolled and there was an advertisement that said that AI, a mattress that is driven by AI.
Okay.
And I'm
quite curious to know which company is doing that.
Absolutely. And because I was in my office and in some, just between a scroll, and it just happened to say, and I was like, okay, let me come back to this. I'm going to definitely. But that's where the world is moving to.
Exactly.
And when, of course, this is on a lighter note, but then when it comes to a lot of patient data that are being fed, when it comes to clinical trials that we do, in terms of, a lot of scannings that we do, right? The diagnostic scannings and all of that.
Right.
Patient privacy is a must.
Very important, right?
So the HIPAA compliances, the GDPRs and all of that has to be considered. Otherwise, I think tomorrow, I don't know, someone told me once that privacy is a myth.
It is not.
Yeah.
I'm going to really.
Yeah. So someone said
we can have a debate on that as a separate podcast.
Yes. So someone said me that privacy is a myth, nothing like that. Today anyone can track anyone, and they can have any details and everything. But then that's the other side of the story. But yes, when it comes to patient, we are responsible to ensure that the patient privacy, the data are not compromised, and hence the frameworks that are being met. The ethics, that comes into a picture. Companies should ensure that they
So as a customer, I'm paying for that, right? So I have every right to have my privacy.
Absolutely.
The data privacy is being taken care of.
Absolutely.
So that's what is going to make a difference, right?
Yes.
So I think I think there are boon and bane for anything that comes in the industry.
True.
So we are still grappling with AI, I believe, all of us. And as said, it's a buzzword. So I'm going to end the podcast right now by thanking Vandan for making it here and sharing such insights. I think it was a fruitful insight that we had. Thank you, Vandan, for this, and looking forward to having you for another show where we're going to have more doctors on board, and we can have a nice tete-a-tete with all the doctors, and we can share the next that's going to happen in AI. And thank you so much. This is Gargi Sarkar signing off from Crafting Identities.